here to help him. Let's roll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Here we are again with Pretty Ideal. Pretty Ideal, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And Kixayo. Kix?
Hello, everybody.
Well, thanks for everybody for coming. It was a great episode last night. I had lots of fun watching it. As once before, I just wish it was like 20 or 30 minutes longer. I always feel like when I'm sitting down and watch Game of Thrones that it's a movie-style show, and I expect movie-style length. But it was a great episode all in all. What did you think about Pretty Ideal?
I want to say that this episode was a lot better than all the other episodes. This was by far my favorite of the season. It could have been a little better, just kind of with the scenes that they chose, but overall, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. What about you, Kix?
I thought that for the first time in this season, we got to see almost every single one besides Bran. Like, there's a lot of content in this episode, so that's good, and a lot of setup and a lot of good stuff.
I'm sending out a tweet if everybody would like to retweet that right now. That'd be great help for the show tonight. If I can spell episode right. Okay, I think we're all set. So, the first thing we open on, we're at Castle Black, and it cuts to the sword right away. It cuts to Jon Snow's sword right away. I'm rather concerned because it felt like at the end of last episode, he dropped the mic and he walked right the hell out of Castle Black, and I'm like, what? He left his sword behind? What the hell? And then it kind of fades up, and there he is talking to Ed, and Ed's kind of protesting about what's going on. But the thing that I noticed that he's not wearing, he's wearing Stark clothing, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so he's made his decision that what's going on, and Ed's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going south. I'm gonna get warm, and but Ed's still pissed. And then as right where they're having this conversation, you hear horn. One horn's for a what? It's for a rider returning, right? Isn't that supposed to be it? Or is that right?
Baby's fussy. Please, everyone, ignore the crying baby.
It was a horn, and then some somebody yelling at the gate, which means it's at the gate, not the door.
But Sansa comes in, and I'm like shocked. I'm absolutely floored by this moment, because if memory serves, the last time Starks were next to each other was the Red Wedding. The last time two Starks were together.
And fun fact, this is the first time in the entire series that Sansa and Jon is on screen together.
Yeah, that's interesting. I heard that too, and I started racking my brain. I'm like, really? Is that entirely possible? But wow, that's crazy. So,
yep.
They're just sitting there. I'm like, oh, Jesus. My wife's like, hug her. What the hell? Because it seemed like a really odd, awkward moment, And then he cut to two of them there, and Sansa is like, hey, this is good soup. And then she reaches for the stein, right? She reaches for the horn of mead. And then I feel like Jon's pausing because he's like, well, man, the last time I saw you, you're like 12. You can't drink this. And he's like, you might as well drink up, have it.
Well, I think that scene was right after she had told him everything that happened to her, and he told her everything that happened to him. So they were kind of like trying to figure out how to move on from that point. And I think it was really cute the way they did it. They didn't waste time with them talking to each other. They were just like, well, now what?
Yeah.
Well, they had some bonding moments, like forgive me for being a prick to you when I was little, kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, that was the only thing.
It's like, forgive me. Okay, I forgive you. But I really like that. I really like the scene. I thought it was good. And she's like, she's trying to figure out what's going on and where's he gonna go, and he's like, where are we gonna go? We're together. We're gonna stay together no matter what. And I like that. I didn't, because if they separate, man, I'm like, oh my god.
He feels a certain sort of responsibility for him now as well.
I agree. And he's talking about Dad's ghost coming back and putting a rock into him,
Next scene is also interesting.
And then she's like, I fought and I lost. I'm not going to do it. And then Sansa's like, well, the hell with you, John. I'll do it myself. And I'm surprised by that comment. That's kind of coming of an age moment, I think, for Sansa.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty big.
This is the latest scene in the episode where we can pick this up, because
And then and then it cuts to the Red Witch and Varys, and he's like, he was the prince that was promised, so I'm going to stay with him. And he's like, I thought Stannis was. And he's like, huh?
Yeah,
oh, well.
I feel like he kind of threw that into her face a little bit.
Yeah. And then
she needed it, but
yeah. Then one of the most interesting scenes. There's lots of them, but one of the most interesting scenes that I found last night was this interaction with Bree, because it took me a slight moment to really understand, because I'm always watching Bree and rooting for Bree and her things and Varys and everything, and hey, we're cool, but yeah, because Bree's standing right there and she killed Stannis. I'm like, oh, well, this is gonna be awkward real quick.
They plotted to kill Renly, who she was totally in love with.
Yeah.
So she's got that. She's got the emotional part of it, and then like the bitter part of it, and so she's happy to tell them she killed Stannis, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, she's still enough of a knight to realize that right now that doesn't matter as well, which is awesome. Like, she doesn't let her emotions run wild.
Yeah. The other thing that I found too interesting was Varys is like, well, that's in the past, Bree. We need to let that go. And she's like, well, as long as we're talking in the past, he'd let me know that devil magic, black magic was in play right before I execute him. I just wanted her to say, well, that's in the past. So and she's standing there right next to his biggest supporters,
But okay, now Brienne, she's pretty awesome. She's one of my favorite. Hey, stop coughing, you crazy. Like, I thought that it was cute that Tormund was giving her like that look, that up and down look, like, hey, this is a woman I've never seen before, and she didn't know how to handle it because no one's ever looked at her like that before, which I thought was precious, because they're just walking into the compound, and he's like, hey. And she looks everywhere but him.
Yeah, hey, good looking. Yep.
It was so cute.
Then we go right to the Vale, and we get to see Robin. This guy is such a puss. He's the weakest male figure in this.
He's
whole
also
show.
mentally challenged, right?
I don't think he's mentally challenged.
So.
I think he's just stunted in the way that he was raised.
You think he's brought up that way? Yeah, maybe.
His breastfeeding until 16.
Yeah, his mom raised him to be a baby and to think, oh, poor me. And so Peter Baelish is treating him, or he's making him think he's being treated like a man. Like, giving him decisions, but, those aren't his own decisions.
No.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So, Baelish, he rolls in, and he's got this hawk. He's, oh, hey, Mr. Name Day. But here's his hawk. And,
it's a fork.
Falcon. It's a falcon, right? So, here you go. And then Baelish just starts pushing buttons, working his ways right away. the scene is like 2 minutes long, but he's like exerting his power on Lord Royce. And-
Peter Baelish is one of those characters that does not miss an opportunity to gain more power.
Yes.
That's
So
his only goal.
he pushes his buttons far enough just to let him know that, hey, I can have young Robin throw you down the moon door anytime I want to. What do you think, Robin? Should we give him another chance? And I was half thinking that Robin would say, throw him, make him fly.
That entire scene was just for him to realize that the Lord is not in command. Peter Baelish.
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
I
totally.
agree. Yeah. And
I
then
think they set that up really well, and even I think even if John, John, Robert, which one? The whiny kid. I'm sorry, I have a whiny baby. Even if he had said let's throw him down the moon door, Peter would have talked his way out of it.
yeah.
It was like an empty threat. I liked it.
Yeah, and then the other thing that big news that came out of the scene was gather the Knights of the Vale. It's time to jump into the fray. So they're sending Knights of the Vale to the Wall to help Jon Snow, and more importantly, Sansa. So that's pretty good. I wasn't expecting that.
Are we going to talk about why he's going to do that?
Yeah, we can, or what we suspect. I think he needs to try to make amends with Sansa. I think because I don't think his plan went the way he wanted it to go to. I just I don't think he was expecting Sansa to get out.
Maybe he's seen how crazy Ramsay is and wants something to do with that.
I don't know. I feel like Peter Baelish already knew how Ramsay was.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
definitely.
Like it wasn't a surprise that he did that to Sansa. I think it was a surprise that she fled. But he's been trying to take power since the very beginning, and he keeps getting stopped over and over and over. And this is the first time you see him kind of in all of his glory. Like, this is what I can do. And now he has an entire army behind him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think, Hicks?
I'm definitely very scared of this guy. Like, he's most likely one of the most powerful people in Westeros as a whole, just because he has connections everywhere.
Yeah.
I think everybody doesn't think of him as a threat, but they probably should.
Somehow I think his overall plan is to marry Sansa. And
he wants power. He's not going to stop until he gets the throne. He's said that before. So
I think what happens is, well, what I think is going to happen, I guess, is I hope Ramsay is thrown out, and then she'll need a husband, and then he will marry or want to marry Sansa, so he can be so. But
I don't think
the Warden of the North. Yeah, that's totally his end game.
Yeah, that's his plan.
Baby,
antics. So from there we go to Meereen, which is a rather awkward situation where Tyrion is a negotiator, and on his side of negotiations is two former slaves against the slavers, and he's trying to his very best to negotiate some sort of peace. I don't, even if it's temporary.
That scene is interesting as well.
Yeah, so one of the slavers walks in and he goes, "Hey, I bought this dwarf for a coin, and here he is sitting at the tower in Meereen, at the pyramid in Meereen. And what the hell? What's going on?"
It's quite a climb.
yeah, he says, well, that's quite a climb. And he's like, well, what do you want us to do? Trying to make negotiations. The slaver's like, we want you to leave Slavers Bay. And he's like, our plans are not to stay here forever. He didn't mention the part that we would been wanted to leave, but Daenerys isn't even here. So and the slavers are like, well, slavery's our world. And Tyrion's like, we don't have slaves, but I have more wealth than any of you guys could ever imagine, and we don't have slaves. And
he's exaggerating a bit, by the way.
yeah, probably. And so they made negotiations for slavery never to return to Marine, and slavery ends in 7 years. So I have lots of things that I heard, that they're trying to relate this back to Abraham Lincoln, and his deals with the South to try to get rid of slaves in America, and that he tried to make peace a gradual thing, just to get rid of slaves, and then the South didn't want any part of it, so then Civil War happened. But he made this deal just to cut off support with Sons of the Harpy, and they seem agreeable. What do you think, Kix? Do you think they're going to up for it?
It's definitely another approach that they haven't seen before, so they're going to consider it, at least, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think this entire scene was kind of a waste, because I think I knew where they were going with it by having Tyrion as the kind of character the kind of character who does talk his way through stuff. He didn't talk it through enough. Like, he didn't explain it, I guess, to the audience or to anybody, really. He's just like, come up with your own plan. You have to end it in 7 years. But, hush. That's not really the Tyrion I was expecting.
It didn't seem like much negotiation there. Didn't seem
yeah,
like
it was just him talking at them, like trying to seem clever, but I wasn't blown away by how they handled it.
And I guess the biggest question that comes out of this little negotiation thing here is, Daenerys, when she returns, is she going to be pissed, or is she going to be like, well, you did what you had to do with the circumstances? What do you think?
I think maybe after her experience kind of escaping from the Dothraki, I think she'll be a little bit, like, mad. Just because her way of getting out of everything is to blow people up. And here's Tyrion talking about it. So if it doesn't...
No compromise. If it
doesn't really work out, I think he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah. And then, so he finishes negotiations with the slavers with producing whores for him, which is really
a very Westerosi thing to do.
Yeah, it's kind of another kind of presenting them with slaves, right? I mean, whores are another type of slave as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, because I'm pretty sure he paid them. So that,
there's working girls then. Earning a coin.
Yeah.
Probably pay them more.
But that's also like showing, even though you don't have slaves, you can still, there's like the model works. You can still pay. You can still pay people to do stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was not a metaphor, but
yeah. You can make money other ways. Hey, I just bought some whores for you, kind of thing. And then so then it goes right to the pyramid, the throne room there, and Tyrion starts talking bad Valyrian again, into saying all kinds of trash. It's super funny. And he's like, our queen, and I liked his approach. He comes off the high pedestal to talk to them down below, and I'm just her advisor, and I'm just stepping into this role. I think he handled that situation very well, especially when he asked for Grey Worm's opinion. And what's her girl's name?
Missandei. I think that was pretty sneaky though, because he straight up lied. And like almost forced them to go with it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. It's not that they would be going against what he said. It would be going against what their queen said, because he's speaking for her, as far as anybody knows. So it put them in a really tough position.
Yeah, they were forced to agree, basically.
Out of loyalty. Yeah. That was sneaky.
Yeah. Well, I agree that because he put him on the spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Call Me Knife. Thanks for stopping.
It was a very character building scene. I felt it could be shorter though.
Yeah, I definitely didn't love this.
Yeah, and then they're walking away, and then Grey Worm is like, you think you're in control with these people, but they're really in control of you. And I'm interested to see how that works out, because Tyrion's, for the most part, has always got the better of the deal of whatever thing he's working on.
Well, these slaves don't understand the politics that he comes from. Like, they understand
Yeah.
power and they understand wealth. That's everything they know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Tyrion might have something else working behind the scenes that we just haven't seen yet. Because that was a lot of like throwing around his weight, and with no results. So I feel like there's either a huge chunk missing, or they just wasted like 4 minutes of my life.
Yeah, they could have done maybe something else, maybe.
Yeah.
So then we bust right over to on top of the cliffs overlooking the horde, and we get to see these two guys.
Jorah and
Yep.
yeah.
And
I just need to say, this is another scene that could have been cut down so hard without missing anything.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. So they're just talking back and forth, just you didn't have much discipline in your life, and he goes, well, I could have killed. If I killed you, then I'd just be the shit who killed an old man, and if I lost, I'd just be the shit who lost an old man. You're right. All that could have been cut out, right?
The entire deal of the scene is to set up how do we get into this place? How do we free her? How do we get out?
And he also sees that he's infected, which is the first person to see that he's infected.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, okay. So this scene, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up to say, oh, one's a playboy and one is super, super loyal. But we already knew all of that.
Exactly.
Just from all of every time we've seen them, they've beaten that stereotype down into the dirt.
Yep.
And to have oh, it's clever banter. Like, you couldn't last 5 minutes with, I just, come on. We get it. We know. Stop.
He doesn't want to give up the knife that has a hilt of a naked lady.
All we needed to know was, we're going into the city. This is how we're doing it. We don't have any weapons with us. We're traitors if they ask.
I was pretty frustrated. I feel like I'm wasting this season on, nothing is blowing me away yet.
I was talking with my sister about it, and we were both agreeing on that this is the fourth episode in the 6th season. Nothing of major interest has happened yet.
Yeah.
We are halfway through the season already, almost.
Yeah. Just driving me nuts.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the problem with not having the books written for you already.
Yeah, that's...
How much longer can we stall it before the book comes out?
So, the next scene, Ron.
Oh, sorry.
I'm snapping at him.
It's because he forgets.
Okay, so we get to go see Daenerys, and she's with all these old ladies, some young ones, and she's sitting in the.
Wait, is that the scene right after?
Yeah, the scene right after.
Okay.
Oh no! The scene right after that, they're actually in a city, and they're trying to play themselves as traitors, which doesn't work out very well. The gig's up right away, and then the knife comes in play, and he stabs him in the back, and then in order to cover up the stabbing, he just smashes the guy's skull in.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty clever, but he seemed like he was rather overzealous over it. It took maybe 1 or 2, not the 5 or 6 that he actually did.
That entire sequence again is just cool.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time though.
Yeah, I agree with that. So then we see Daenerys sitting there with all the former wives and sitting around, and basically she finds one girl that she likes, kind of be friends, and somebody that she can maybe relate to, and she's like, "Whew, I need to get out for some air." And the other ladies, the old ladies stink.
That was way too convenient, and again, a waste of time. They spent an entire segment in the episode before with them in the Dogecoin, like, oh, well, you're not leaving anywhere. Everyone has been a wife of a call. It depends on what the other guys say to you. Like, come on. We already said that before, and so they're just repeating themselves. Only this time she goes off to pee in the woods that weren't there before. Do you remember
Oh yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
were overlooking?
Yo, wow. That's a
Suddenly
good
they're
point.
surrounded by woods and buildings. No, it wasn't. It was a
Yeah.
bunch of
I'm going to the
mud
river.
huts around the circle all by itself. Like, where did all of that greenery come from?
That's very interesting.
This episode is giving me palpitations.
Yeah, that's very, very, very interesting. Yeah, that was bad because you could definitely see from the cliff that there was nothing there, right? Unless it was just slightly out of view on right. I don't know. But so anyway, then she sees her rescuers, and then she's like, "I got a plan. You know, don't hurt her. We got a plan." And it was that very moment I'm like, "Oh my god, she's definitely gonna take over here. This is it." She's making because she just doesn't make small plays. She goes for it all the time.
All or nothing.
She knows she can.
Yeah. It's so, and then we don't get to see that for a little bit, and then we see Marjorie next.
Yeah.
And she's in their jail cell, looking broken as far as I'm concerned. Then she gets brought out of there to see the sparrow, and you could see her. She's like, she must have been there for ages because the sun hurts her eyes as soon as she hits the sunny area. And
this sequence of scenes is important, very important.
Yeah, it's important, but it's not so important for Marjorie's character as much as it is for the sparrow and her brother.
There's something about Marjorie which is important.
Well, what do you think?
The thing. Well, okay. Let's have Rom tell us what the scene is about, and then we'll talk about it.
So the sparrow asked her, "Where would you go? Where would you go?" And she starts saying, "I'm going to see my brother. I'm going to go see my family." He's like, "Those are all places of sin. You know, you should do what I did. You know, I don't think he's just trying to confess her. I think he's trying to actually convert her, honest to God truth. And so I think that that's what he's trying to do. And then she quotes the scripture that's being read to her while she's being beaten, I'm sure. And,
read that.
yeah. So and then we hear this whole story, blah blah blah, about the sparrow as a cobbler, and I walked away from it all. I walked away from women and good food, and now I don't wear shoes anymore. It's ironic. I think the most ironic thing is he doesn't wear shoes anymore, but he used to be a cobbler. You know, so and it says the Book of Stranger is that what comes up, and that's the title of the episode, The Book of Stranger, and that's what she quotes as the Book of Stranger about walking through a graveyard or whatever.
Yeah, well, Marjorie has always been the survivor. She always knows what to say and what people want to hear. Exactly. And she hasn't, this scene showed that she hasn't lost that. Even though she's been through all of this, she's still the person she was when she first came in.
And this scene right after where he takes her to see her brother, she knows this is to try and hurt her and to try and break her even further down.
And Loras is clueless, right?
But Loras is clueless.
Yeah, Loras is completely wrecked. And it's my opinion that Loras has already been broken. He's probably even confessed at this point, as far as I'm aware, because just his demeanor. He's like, just make it stop. So I think they're just, and she even says it, that the Sparrow's using Loras to get to her. But she's not going to have no part of it.
The important part is that Marjorie is a very, very strong woman. That's we got to get to see that here. Like, she doesn't break that easily. She's so intelligent that she knows how to play the game. She knows that this is to try and break her down. This is to try and convince her this is the right way. Which is important.
Cersei didn't even last.
No. And she was even interacting with him too, like asking questions, not just paying attention, but asking questions, having a conversation, and and instead of just like taking it on the chin, so yeah. So, and then from there, is there anything else you guys want to add to that scene?
No, I think we covered it.
Not besides that he's a manipulate cunt, and can't wait to see him die.
Oh yeah, I hope we get that. I hope we get that. I get a sneaking feeling we're not going to though, but I hope so. So from here we go to King's Landing. You see Grandmeister just filmed the King Tomlin with a whole bunch of this, trying to be persuasive with him.
Is amazing.
And just
well, he thinks he's doing it. But he's not.
No.
I think no.
And Cersei comes in and says, "Get out." And then we get to watch this old man just shuffle through, and we all know he's the limber chicken. So he's just shuffling. And I'm like, oh my god, he's still got the game going on, And then, there's not much with that scene except for Tommen says, I talked to the Sparrow. He told me some stuff that I never should repeat. And then it cuts away. I wanted to see that part.
I wanted to see him tell his mother that the High Sparrow was going to make Martin go through the trial.
Yeah, but
I
to
wanted see him.
At this point, again, pre-ideal, that would have been like
something
painfully hard to look at, because the scene right after is basically her repeating everything he said. To the small council. So if they did those two scenes in a row, it would be it would be weird.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know. You're right, but I feel like Tommen. I feel like he's just the pawn, which he is. But I kind of was rooting for him to be the one to change things.
Yeah.
Step up, and
he's
just
not.
Consistently doesn't.
Let's be honest, he's not. He's a wimp. He doesn't have what it takes to be king.
No, I don't think so. So then we get to see them, try to bust into the small council again. Cersei, walking in there and you don't have to be here, but she tells them what the plan is going to be in order to do this, and starts manipulating the Tyrells to do the dirty work. We're not going to do it. You're going to lay everything on the line. It's your daughter. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do it. We'll let you do it. But if it fails, then it's not on us. You can go ahead and pick the fight with the Sparrow, but we're not going to.
I think if the great thing about this scene is that Olenna is she doesn't want anything to do with Cersei until it matters her own house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of how it was through the whole thing. I mean, she didn't get involved until Joffrey was about to get all up on her granddaughter.
But think
whipped out a dagger.
Think about it. This entire setup they have now, where they have a plan to take him down and do all this stuff. Everybody in that room has a purpose or has something to get out of that, whatever happens. Which is interesting, because they don't have the same goal, but they all have one.
We didn't see Zombie Mountain in this scene either. I thought he would be back there, exerting the force. But maybe she didn't want him there because she wanted to appeal to her genteel side instead of being forced to it. I don't know. Maybe that was just a play, but we didn't.
Cersei's right about one thing, though. The High Sparrow has been trying to turn them against each other to gain more power. That's true.
Oh yeah, for sure. So then we get to go to the Iron Isles. And
yay!
Oh my god, this scene.
This is what you hoped last week, that we'd get back to the Iron Isles, and Theon returns with zero pomp, zero circumstance. And he
because you remember when he came before, he was all dressed all fancy.
Oh yeah,
he was like, "Look at me in my gold. I'm a Stark, but I'm an Ironborn, and I'm this and I'm that, and you deserve to give me the crown." And I'm
gonna grope my sister on a horse on the way to Pike's Peak.
He just comes in totally defeated. What is he dressed in? Like some nasty rags from Ramsay, and he just it was a great moment to see a complete 180 for his character.
And his sister's just sitting there by the fireside, and she's like, "I couldn't hear you," when he says, I escaped. I think she was very shocked by the fact that he escaped. And because she was like, well, you let you go? And he's like, no, I escaped. And then she starts throwing stones right away. Like, what the hell? You're going to come back the night before the king's moot? You want to be king? Nobody wants you to be king. What the hell do you want? And he's like,
The reason she does that is also that she took, like she says, she took a lot of men to try and rescue him. And when they finally got to him, he chose Ramsay. Like, legit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, he was very brainwashed.
Oh yeah,
But
Says
I
he
mean-
broke me into 1,000 pieces, and she's like, "Yeah, I know, I got
Look
one."
at it from her perspective. She almost crossed the entire northern part of Westeros to try and get him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he just, nah, I'm not going with you. I'm
and
sorry.
then she also says, "You were my brother, and I tried to rescue my brother," and so. You know, I think she's kind of disowned him at this point until maybe he says, I want you to rule the Iron Islands. So maybe that was enough.
Well, at this point, I don't think he's so broken down. He wouldn't even trust himself with the with being the ruler. So he just wants something stable in his life again, like
Yeah.
a home.
I don't know, but when he's like, "Let me help you," I was like, "What is he gonna do? He has absolutely nothing. He has no sway. Like, how is he gonna help her?"
He's gonna help her in the fact that he is the last born heir to the thing, and if he has something to say in the coming things, I think
Oh,
like,
you think
that's what he
you
means.
think he has a vote at the King's Moot?
he might
I
have.
don't know. Well, we'll see, I guess.
He's the last born son. Like, that has to mean something, right?
Yeah, as long as
Even
we
if
don't know that
he
he doesn't have a
doesn't-
wanker.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he can't make any more heirs, though. It
Yeah.
would pass over to their uncle.
It doesn't
Which I
matter. He still have something to say. Like,
Eh.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, we'll see. We'll
So-
see.
So we get to
We'll
Winterfell. We get to Winterfell, and we see Ramsay with his knife, just cutting it up, doing his thing, and
Adored this scene. I adored this scene.
It just and
Frida likes blood, apparently.
yeah.
No, I like plot.
What, damn it! What's her name? What's the girl's name?
Asha.
Oh yeah.
Osha.
Okay, so she comes in, and she starts doing her thing. She starts doing what she did with Theon. Just talking to him, and I like the part where Ramsay's like, "Do you know who I am?" And she's like, "A lord."
See, but her problem, her flaw, like the beautiful flaw in her character is that she's treating Ramsay like a person, and he's not a person. And
Yeah,
I
I
just
agree.
thought it was gorgeous.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Gorgeous.
he's a monster. He knows how to. Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
as soon as he put the knife down, I'm like, "Oh my god!" I told my wife last night, "Oh my god, she's going to try to kill him." And
Yep.
and as soon as I saw the knife, I'm like, "Huh."
Well, he did
Okay.
it on purpose. He did it on purpose. He set the knife down,
Oh yeah,
like
probably.
with the hilt facing her. Like
Probably.
he did it on. It was beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And then so it's as soon as she grabs for the knife, it's all over. Knife in the throat. It's all over.
Does she even get to touch the knife?
I don't think.
No, but he
probably
knows
not.
she's reaching for it, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah, he
the
knows.
point.
Yeah.
He lets
That's
her
why-
try.
And then he goes right back to eating apple.
Yep, it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Yep. So, the next, and then we move right along. We go back to Castle Black, and in the book, this is called the Pink Letter, and I have no idea why. Do you guys know why?
What do you mean?
When you go to King's Black, and they're sitting around, and Bree's getting googly eyes made at her when they're eating, and then they bring the letter in. From Ramsay,
like,
the Jon
why
Snow.
they call it that?
Yeah,
Why they're
it's-
calling it the pink letter?
Yeah, in the books, I guess it's the pink letter. Do you know why? Because I don't know.
No.
I don't know why, but I guess it's called the pink letter. But basically, it's Ramsay just throwing stones at the Starks, just pissing them off, knowing exactly what's going to happen, and also throwing stones at the wildlings, and that's what it's all about. We start to hear numbers. Well, the wildlings got 2,000. And Ramsay got about 5,000, if that number is indeed true. I don't know if maybe he was exaggerating that number, if that's a true number. A silver jet stroke. And so, 2,000 versus 5,000. So, and then the Knights of the Vale are going to be added to this. I don't even know what their numbers are going to be. But, God, I hope they'd be more than 3,000.
They probably will be. Because they haven't been decimated by any war at all.
No, that's true.
But John still needs some convincing for this. Even after reading the letter, he's like, huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's pink. I just looked it up. It's pink because of the wax on it. It looks red to me, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
The thing about this scene, though, that's amazing, is that before, when Sansa and Jon were talking, Sansa was pleading him, "We need to do this for the name, for the Starks. This is our legacy, right?" Jon doesn't give a fuck about legacy.
Nope. Legacy got him killed.
He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck about legacy and names because he's not as dark, But this changes him because this is personal. This is something to do with somebody he likes and he loves.
I honestly, if this doesn't go Ramsay's way, his biggest mistake was getting Roderick, the boy.
Getting what?
Rickon.
Oh, Rickon.
Getting
Rickon. And so, because if he didn't have him, I'm not too sure Jon Snow would be so inspired.
Well, and the letter as well, because the letter, I'm gonna rape your sister 1,000 times.
Well, there's that. Right? So, and then we see the Wildlings leader. What's his name?
I think as well that Jon realizes how mad he is. How mad Ramsay actually is, and this is not just about him. This is about the people that he loves and.
But since Ramsay started throwing the Wildlings' names in there, they didn't need any convincing that they're going.
No, Tormund was already on board. Like, as soon as he heard what they were going to do to the Wildlings, he's like, "Nope, that's not happening." I think he would have gone with or without Jon.
I agree. We're going. All 2,000 of us. So the last scene of the night, we get to see what happens to Khal Drogo's wife, Daenerys. And so she's up there, and all the other Khals are talking about her as if she's not even there. What should we do with us? Yunkai is going to pay us 10,000 horses. I'm all about that. And they're just complete. They also briefly touch him on the guy that got his busted head with a stone, but no big deal. He said, "I'm okay with it." So I'm just like, okay, well, I guess that plan worked, but that becomes very moot here in a second. But then after all that, then we hear this giant speech from Daenerys, which is, I'm like, oh Jesus, it's going down right now. So I like the speech. I like the speech that she gave before big things happen, and she also reminds everybody how powerful Khal Drogo was. And he's like, he was gonna mount the world, and he was gonna go across the Great Sea and piss on everybody. Nobody's done it before. I'm gonna do it. She starts name calling everybody. She's like, "You guys aren't even half the men. You guys are terrible leaders."
They're sitting there like bargaining a trade, like, "Oh, we'll trade you for 10,000 horses." And she's like, "Well, he would have shown up and taken all the, you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
Like they're a bunch of pansies now.
Oh yeah, and she tells them.
And I think that's why they get so mad too, because she's right.
Yeah. And the scene for me, as soon as she stands in between all the fires, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Daenerys to Unburnt. That it
See,
was going
okay.
down right here.
There you go.
I knew it. I
But
didn't know what she was gonna do.
What was in those little things? Did Jorah and them like douse the whole place in some kind of pig fat? Because the fire doesn't react like that in real life. So what is in those little barrels? Is there pig fat in the barrels? Can someone explain this to me?
Yeah, I don't know. If it wasn't coal in there, maybe it was some sort of fuel, then it could spread like that. But I don't know.
Kept me from being in awe. It kept me from being in awe of it. I was like, man, this is not how fire works. I don't like this.
Because it seemed like to me that when the fire originally got put down, it got spilled onto stone.
Yeah, so I'm confused at that, but we can ignore it and move past it.
It looked kind of like how napalm spreads, though. Not saying that it's napalm, but
I highly doubt it. But
throw a joke at you.
I had a weird thing about this scene as well because she goes in with two of the Dosh Khaleen.
Yeah, and they leave.
And they go out.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jorah and the other guy kill the guards outside before or after those Khaleen went out? Because if they didn't, they would have known, right?
It kind of seems like some of the other scenes from this episode could have been taken out or at least cut, so we could have got more about what's going on in the background with this. Like I kind of would have liked to see, the young girl spreading some fuel around or whatever, and then these guys coming in, boy, it smells like old ladies in here or something, and then the next thing then all this happens. I would have liked maybe a little bit more of that. Might have been cool, I think.
I agree. But then we see boobs, and that was great.
And I said, as soon as we saw those last night, I'm like, man, Pretty Ideal's gonna be happy.
gonna love the boobs.
Yeah.
This is but the entire scene is also a throwback to the first season.
Yeah.
When she went into the fire the first time.
Now I will say that she definitely took her clothes off on purpose. How is the leather gonna burn and not her hair?
Well, her hair didn't burn.
That's just how it works, right?
Yeah, her hair didn't burn in the last thing.
Yeah, no. But the leather didn't burn. Leather
Pretty Ideal.
Like
Don't question the unburned, please. She's magical, She's magical hair. It cannot burn.
I kind of wish the dragon had flown over for, That would have been a little bit too coincidental, but that would have been fun if the dragon flew in right then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I kind of thought the dragon was going to be there to bring her out or whatever. I thought that he was going to be involved in it.
At this point, she doesn't need to.
No.
No.
She sets everything to blaze, and then she comes out of the arch like she's just, that's her womb that she's stepping out of, and she's reborn again. Daenerys
she looks through the Dothraki as a goddess now, which is what she was looking at like the first time again, but everybody forgot. This is like a rebirth, and it's beautiful because it also shows that she has power, even though she doesn't have her dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Arya's reborn last week, and Jon was reborn, and Daenerys is reborn.
Yeah. One of the producers said this week that this is the season of rebirth.
Yeah, for sure.
Because so many things of that kind is happening, and I don't think we've seen the last of it.
No.
Oh, definitely not.
I really like that scene. I thought it was amazing. I'm glad for it. I'm just wondering now what happens. The Dothraki just march right into those slaver cities that Tyrion just made a bargain for. She put them on boats to go into Westeros. I don't even know.
Well, right now, okay. So let's think about it. Meereen is all it has is the being attacked by the Harpies.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's against them, and all they have to protect themselves are
the Unsullied.
The Unsullied, the hired hands.
But
Daenerys Daenerys is about to march back with not just one section of Dothraki. All
Everyone.
of the Dothraki.
100,000 men.
Yeah.
100,000 men.
So even if all of these masters weren't really taking it seriously, they will now.
And the other part too, with this 100,000 men, there's probably at least 50,000 slaves, because
Also,
Dothraki are all about slaves too.
Also, 100,000 men crossing to Westeros would be amazing.
That would be so beautiful. Oh man, I honestly don't think they're gonna go though.
I have a feeling. Nah.
Will we see Dothraki
But at
fight
this
the
point-
White
at this
Walkers?
At this point, it's very hard to believe that the White Walkers will not get beyond the wall before Daenerys reaches Westeros.
Well, no,
I don't
meant
think.
this season. I don't
She
think
might
we're
not-
gonna see
she-
Dothraki go across the sea.
She might not even go.
Well, yeah. Well, not this season, at least. Even
Well,
if she,
we're gonna go
No,
after the
she's not gonna
long
do this.
night. Yeah, we're gonna go after the long night. We'll be okay, and then it could be 10 years from now, but we're gonna go after all those zombies are gone. I don't-
Bro,
maybe.
the entire season could, the entire Game of Thrones could end up with everybody just getting wiped by the White Walkers and the end. Boom.
Everybody dead. Drop the mic. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I really hope that they pick up the pace, because the first four episodes have been so slow paced. I cannot have it anymore. Please.
I think it'll pick up.
I
It
hope
has
it does.
to.
It has to, because at this point, this is ridiculous. We are almost halfway through the season.
Yeah.
preview for next week.
And it almost looks like it's taken a day. Like 4
Yeah.
episodes
Oh,
has
yeah, you're
almost
right.
taken a day.
Yeah, I would
It's-
agree with that,
it's,
right?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Not much time has spanned. this
It doesn't
season yet.
feel like it, but there was a lot of like almost teleportation, because you remember Theon was on his way to the Iron Islands and he had just left Winterfell when they abandoned.
Yeah.
You know,
know,
and suddenly he's at the Iron Islands, or Brienne of Tarth, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were escaping, and
I-
suddenly
I-
they're over there.
I know that a lot of time has passed, but for me as a viewer, it feels like nothing has passed. Like nothing has really happened yet. That's so important. We haven't seen anybody go somewhere and have them track them, like we did with Arya, and when she went through all of Westeros, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right now, everybody's teleporting all over the place
Yeah.
in this series, and it's kind of weird, because that's not how they used to do it. We used to see characters move across the land, not just appear somewhere.
Yeah. But they don't really have time to do that, which I understand.
They do.
Maybe if they had taken
But
out
they're not.
terrible scenes.
They're choosing not to, which is annoying to me. I hope they're going to pick up the pace. I hope we get to see some more of the Northern story. I really hope we get to see some more of that, and they just don't suppress us as much as they have.
Yeah. Because I don't care about the High Sparrow anymore
No.
at all. I
Well-
almost don't care about the Dothraki or Marine right now. The only thing really saving it was Tyrion, and now, well, she has all the Dothraki behind her, so it's cool again.
It's a
But
pretty
I feel
ideal.
like they
What do you hope
swear
to see next
I
week?
swear to God, if they're gonna use 2 episodes for her to get back to Marine, I'm gonna go ape shit.
Pretty ideal. What do you want? What do you want to see next week? What do you hope to see next week?
Okay, so next week I want to see Jon and Sansa banding together with all of the wildlings and going to like one of the other northern houses. I want to see them walk up to one of these other keeps and being like, "Hey, we need your help. We're about to overthrow Ramsay. This is what he's done. This is what he's threatening."
What about
And,
you,
like,
Kix?
Yeah.
What would you like to see next week?
What she just said.
Mhm.
That's the most exciting plot point right now.
That's the most exciting plot point, and I
agree.
For
I think
fun
that would be
season,
pretty fun.
I'd like to see some more of Bran. Just
I would like to
just-
see.
just
yeah, we
because
still
I
haven't
fucking
seen in the tower.
just because I just want to see the fucking tower, please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would like to
But
see
we
that.
called it. They didn't show us this episode. We called it.
No,
I would like to see. I would like
They
to see
didn't even-
Arya
they
next
didn't
week
even-
get
we
sent
didn't
on a
even
mission.
we didn't
Oh.
even see Bran this episode. It's infuriating.
Wait, Roran, what were you hoping?
I would like to
About
see
Arya?
Arya being set on a mission to kill Walter Frey. That's what I.
Wait, who's she gonna kill?
No,
like
I
to-
don't think she's.
I'd like
I don't think
to,
that's
for
gonna
her
happen.
to be sent to kill Walter Frey. Now, the reason why I say that they might be interested is because they killed so many people underneath their house, and I think the god of death might be interested in taking these. The faceless god might be interested in taking Walter Frey because he killed the people in his house, and they seem to be kind of honorable and fixing the scale of things. And I think that I kind of hope that next week we just see that, you know, she gets pushed in the right direction. She gets sent on a mission to go get Walter Frey. That's what I hope, because everything else seems to be kind of playing out the way I kind of expected or whatever, you know. But I would like to see her get to go work on her list. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
The
I
only
still think
thing that,
she's gonna kill one of her family members.
yeah, I have a feeling that's gonna happen as well.
It'd be like, go kill Jon Snow.
No, probably
No.
Sansa.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But at this point, she's a faceless man, so anything can happen.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, I think we got just about an hour in. So, do you have any final thoughts? Pretty Ideal.
I hate the show. I really do. It is
'Cause of
giving me
pacing?
so much
'Cause of
anxiety.
pacing.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's all build up, and this is the first episode. Stuff happens, and really stuff only really happened in two places. And
Yeah.
King's Landing was still
Yeah.
set up.
What about you,
Yep.
Kix?
I seriously hope that episode 5 is gonna pick up the pace. Otherwise, this season is gonna be a fail. I'm sorry.
I'm just happy there was another boat scene with Sam puking in a bucket.
Yeah.
So we got that. So, all right. Pretty Ideal. Say goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
All right. Say goodbye, Kix.
Goodbye, everybody. Remember to tune in next time. It's fun.
All right. Yeah, I had lots of fun too. I like talking about this. I like hanging out with you too. It's pretty fun. I can't wait until next week, and we'll see you all then. Goodbye. All right, this week I gotta wait for a delay, everybody, because